Welcome to the 2300 Pick 6 podcast. I'm your host, Dave Walker, about to do another edition of Where DWALK was right and Where DWALK was wrong. Some wrongs and some rights and some shocking wrongs I didn't expect. So the first one we got wrong is Bills Texans, which I got wrong, picking the Bills. Texans get 8 sacks and Bullock forces 3 turnovers in Houston's 23-19 win over Bills. Buffalo's Josh Allen was harassed by Houston's defense all night Thursday, and it was no different on the last play of the game. Literally, I thought the Bills should have won this game, but they did not, which was a shocker. They said that Josh Allen does not do good in Houston, and it showed he didn't, and the Texans literally demolished him. That defense got to Josh Allen all night and literally even caused the disruption on the final play of the game for them to get the win, to keep their playoff hopes alive. For the Bills, they are now in a deeper hole trying to get their division due to the fact that the Patriots did win against the Bengals. We'll talk about a little later when we cross that bridge. But they're going to have a tough hole trying to get the division. They're still going to make playoffs, but I don't know what seeding they're going to be right now. But it's going to be very, very tough with them because the thing they're going to have to hope for is down the road is probably to win out, and then you're going to have to play every game in order until you get to the Patriots, try to split with them. For the Texans right now, even they're doing this without C.J. Stroud, doing it with Davis Mills. The defense has been keeping them in these games. They're doing everything in their power to keep their playoff hopes alive. They may not get the division because they have to deal with Jacksonville, and you have to – well, they already played Jacksonville. They've already split with Jacksonville. They have to deal with Indianapolis. They have to try to get at least one from them or two from them in order to try to get their division. We'll wait and see what happens with them down the road. For a breakdown out of this game, James Cook, the third, 45-yard rush. Kami Fairbairn, 24-yard field goal. Matt Prater, 44-yard field goal. Christian Kirk, 2-yard pass from Davis Mills. Kami Fairbairn, 43-yard field goal. Ray Davis, 97-yard kickoff return. Jaden Higgins, 8-yard pass from Davis Mills. Kami Fairbairn, 26-yard field goal. Matt Prater, 38-yard field goal. Leaders for the Texans were Davis Mills, 16-30, 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. Woody Mark, 16 carries, 74 yards. Nico Collins, 53 catches, 55 yards. Leading sacker for the Texans was Willie Anderson Jr. with 2.5 sacks. And leading tackler for the Texans was Jalen Reed with 12 tackles and 9 solo ones. For the Texans, their next opponent is against the Kansas City Chiefs. I take that back. Is against the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday Night Football next Sunday night. They're on their bye week. No, actually, it is this Sunday. Where is it this Sunday? Let me check. Let me go back. So it is the Colts this Sunday at 1 o'clock. It is the Colts, and then Buffalo's next opponent is at 4 o'clock against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Next one I got right and wrong is Colts Chiefs, which I got wrong picking the Colts. Chiefs rally from an 11-point deficit to beat Colts 23-20 in overtime on Harrison Butker's 5th field goal. The Kansas City Chiefs look much like they have all season for the first 3 quarters against Indianapolis on Sunday. This was a game that the Chiefs needed literally to keep their playoff hopes alive and to try to get their division because they had lost 2 straight. They were on a 2-game losing streak, and I thought the Colts were going to pull off the upset, but unfortunately the Colts did not. The Chiefs got the win when it was needed to keep their hopes alive and to try to get their division because they have already lost 1 to Denver. They have already lost 1 to the Chargers. And now they're going to have to see if they can try to split with both of them and try to get a lot of help down the road to try to get into the playoffs. Right now at 6-5, they have a tough road ahead of them because now, okay, you've now beat Indianapolis. That will help you a little bit. They do not play the Patriots this year, but they're going to have it tough sledding. If they happen to tie with they don't play the Texans until December the 7th. They do play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, which is a non-conference game, but that will affect them because it's a loss. But they have to avoid losing games. They're going to have to try to win out as best they can. If not, they might not make the playoffs for the first time under the Patrick Mahomes regime. As for the Colts, I don't know what happened here. They were in control in this game, but it was not enough because the Chiefs got the win when it was needed. They needed this win badly to keep their hopes alive. For the Colts right now, they will still make playoffs. They probably are still going to win their division. Just right now, they lost the 1 seed. They're more likely either going to be a 3 or maybe a 2. But we'll wait and see what occurs with them down the road. But a breakdown out of this game. Michael Pittman Jr., 6-yard pass from Daniel Jones. Harrison Butker, 28-yard field goal. Drew Ogletree, 4-yard pass from Daniel Jones. Harrison Butker, 48-yard field goal. Harrison Butker, 22-yard field goal. Michael Bagley, 32-yard field goal. Michael Bagley, 23-yard field goal. Kareem Hunt, 2-yard rush. Patrick Mahomes pass to Rashid Rice for the 2-point conversion was successful. Harrison Butker, 25-yard field goal. Harrison Butker, 27-yard field goal for the win. Leaders for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 29-46, 352 yards and an interception. Kareem Hunt, 30 carries, 104 yards and a touchdown. Rashid Rice, 8 catches for 141 yards. No sacks by the Chiefs. Leading tackler for the Chiefs was Brian Cook with 8 tackles and 5 solo ones. For the Chiefs, they play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. For the Colts, they play the Texans on Sunday. Next game I got right and wrong is Steelers-Bears, which I got wrong, picking the Steelers. Caleb Williams throws for 2 touchdowns as Bears beat Steelers 31-20 with an emphasis Aaron Rodgers' sideline. Caleb Williams, hope you get a good chance to chat with Aaron Rodgers. He got the opportunity after he led the Bears yet to another close win. Well, in that one, I'll apologize. I thought Aaron Rodgers was faking an injury, which he was not faking a wrist injury. He was out for this game, so he did not. Pittsburgh tried everything to win the game from what I heard. They tried to go for it, didn't get it, because you have one of the best kickers in the league, did not go for it long, could have tied the game up, but they did not. For the Bears, it looks like it's still the cardiac Bears. They're pulling off every victory they can to hold on to first place in their division, hold on to fight for a wild card spot with Caleb Williams, Monungai, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, and Romeo Odunze, and CJ DJ to do everything to keep that spot. But Chicago is looking very, very good. The people thought they'd be a very good team. They're doing everything to look good here. Now, Chicago's next opponent is, I think, against the Green Bay Pack. No, wait, is it the Packers? Yeah, their next opponent's on Friday, on Black Friday against the Eagles, which I won't be able to watch because I'll be at work. For the Steelers, their next opponent's going to be on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills, so we'll see how they both do. But a breakdown out of this game: DJ Moore, 5-yard pass from Caleb Williams. DK Metcalf, 6-yard rush. Nick Herbig, scoop and score touchdown. Colston Loveland, 12-yard pass from Caleb Williams. Jalen Warren, 1-yard rush. Cairo Santos, 47-yard field goal. DJ Moore, 25-yard pass from Caleb Williams. Kyle Monungai, 2-yard rush. Pat Fireman, 3-yard pass from Mason Rudolph. Leaders for the Bears: Caleb Williams, 19-35, 3 touchdowns for 239 yards. Kyle Monungai, 12 carries, 1 touchdown, 48 yards. DJ Moore, 5 receptions, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Montez Sweat, 2 sacks, and leading tackler for the Bears was DeMarco Jackson with 15 tackles and 5 solo ones. For the Bears, their next opponent is on Friday against the Philadelphia Eagles. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, their next opponent is against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Next game I got right and wrong is Patriots-Bengals, which I got right, picking the Patriots, thank God. AFC leading Patriots rally from 10-point deficit to beat Bengals 26-20, extending winning streak to 9. Mike Vrabel's New England Patriots became the first NFL team to reach 10 wins after they held on for a 26-20 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. This Patriots team, you got to watch out for. 10-2, didn't expect it. Like I said, I thought this would be maybe a low, like maybe a 5, 6, 7 win team, but they're doing everything they can to win games. They have the 1 seed in the AFC right now. They're leading their division, going with Trayvon Henderson, Drake May playing outstanding football with Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, and Demario Davis, and the defense getting its job done. So the Patriots are looking really, really good here in the post-Tom Brady era. The first time they could get a 1 seed and get home field since then. But wait and see how good this Patriots team is down the road. As for the Bengals, I pretty much think it's over. Even if Joe Burrow does come back this Thursday against the Ravens, it's not going to be enough right now for them to get it because I don't know if Jamar Chase is going to play. I think he might have got injured in that game. So I don't know what's going to happen here for them. I would say start preparing to be on the clock because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. But a breakdown out of this game: Evan McPherson, 54-yard field goal. Geno Stone, 32-yard interception return for a pick 6. Hunter Henry, 28-yard pass from Drake May. Marcus Jones, 33-yard interception return for a pick 6. Andy Borregales, 41-yard field goal. And McPherson, 63-yard field goal. Andy Borregales, 45-yard field goal. Andy Borregales, 19-yard field goal. Mike Mitchell, Tinsley, 17-yard pass from Joe Flacco. Andy Borregales, 52-yard field goal. Leaders for the Patriots: Drake May, 23-35, 1 touchdown, 294 yards, and an interception. Trayvon Henderson, 18 carries, 66 yards. Hunter Henry, 7 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Leading sacker for the Patriots were Harold Landry III with 1 sack. And leading tackler for the Patriots was Carlton Davis III with 8 tackles and 4 solo ones. For the Patriots, they play on Monday Night Football against the New York Giants. For the Bengals, they play on Thanksgiving against the Baltimore Ravens. Next game I got right and wrong is Ravens-Jets, which I got right picking the Ravens. Henry rushing for 2 touchdowns to help sluggish Ravens to 5th straight win, 23-10 over Jets. Baltimore has climbed all the way out of its hole, even if this season still looks laborious for Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and the rest of the Ravens. For the Ravens, they're over 500 for the first time since, I would say, since week 2. Since that Lamar Jackson injury, they didn't look good. But then when Tyler Huntley got in, he got them a win to keep it afloat. Then Lamar came back, lit it up. And now, right now, the Ravens are at the point of trying to run the proverbial table, trying to get their division and trying to get a playoff spot. So they're doing everything in their power with Lamar, with Derrick Henry, with their defense, with Mark Andrews. They're trying to do everything in their power to get that playoff spot and their division. As for the Jets, they're already on the clock. They're going to be trying to make moves to see who they will get, probably for quarterback or whatever they could try to do for next year. But for them, it's already on the clock. But a breakdown out of this game. John Mechie, the third, 13-yard pass from Tyrod Taylor. Oh, there was no scoring in the first quarter. Tyler Loop, 31-yard field goal. Derrick Henry, 2-yard rush. Derrick Henry, 2-yard rush. Nick Folk, 42-yard field goal. Tyler Loop, 35-yard field goal. Tyler Loop, 27-yard field goal. Leaders for the Ravens: Lamar Jackson, 13-23, 153 yards. Derrick Henry, 21 carries, 64 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers, 5 catches, 58 yards. Leading sacker for the Ravens was Draymond Jones with 1.5 sacks. And leading tackler for the Ravens, Roquan Smith, with 6 solo tackles and 11 tackles. For the Ravens, their next opponent is on Thursday against the Cincinnati Bengals. For the Jets, their next opponent is against who do they play on Sunday? They play against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. Next game I got right and wrong is Seahawks Titans, which I got right picking Seattle. Sam Darnold throws for 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Seahawks beat the Titans 30-24. Both Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks bounced back quite nicely from their first road loss this season. Seahawks have been playing outstanding football very, very well, with Sam Darnold having a good renaissance there. The defense doing good with DeMarcus Lawrence. Smith and Jigba looking like a top number 1 receiver with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Now, my only concern for Seattle is when it comes playoff time and when it comes against big games where Darnold will not try to fold. Because last year in the playoffs was his first when he folded against the Rams. Now, pretty soon, Seattle does got to play some tough teams in the division, like the 49ers, like the Rams one more time. But can they not try to fold? I see this team making the playoffs, but I just don't know how far they're going to go. As for the Titans, they are already on the clock. They're going to be probably trying to find moves that fix the offense and the defense. So they will be doing everything in their power. They're already on the clock for this season in their draft. But a breakdown out of this game. Jason Myers, 47. Oh, sorry. First quarter, Joey Slye, 22-yard field goal. Jason Myers, 47-yard field goal. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 63-yard pass from Sam Darnold. Jason Myers, 30-yard field goal. Jason Myers, 36-yard field goal. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 13-yard pass from Sam Darnold. Jamari Dyke, 90-yard punt return. Zach Charbonnet, 5-yard rush. Cam Ward, 6-yard rush. Jamari Dyke, 1-yard pass from Cam Ward. Leaders for the Seahawks: Sam Darnold, 16-26, 244 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker, the third, 11 carries, 71 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 8 catches, 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leading sacker for Seattle was Leonard Williams with 1 sack, and leading tackler for the Seahawks was Drake Thomas with 10 tackles and 6 solo ones. For the Seahawks, their next opponent is against the Minnesota Vikings. As for the Titans, their next opponent is against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next game that I got right and wrong is Vikings-Packers, which I got right picking Green Bay. Emmanuel Wilson runs for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns as Packers pound Vikings 23-6. Emmanuel Wilson always believed he could make it to the NFL even while he was breaking into the league as an undrafted free agent from Division II Fort Valley State. He filled in very, very good for Josh Jacobs in this game. Josh Jacobs was out with an injury, so he took advantage of this situation, and he did a damn good job in it. So once Jacobs comes back, I don't know if they're going to go to the 1-2 combination of him and Wilson, but they got this win, which was needed to try to keep pace in their division with Detroit and with Chicago. So they're doing everything they can to fight for that last playoff spot where they can to make that late playoff push. As for the Vikings, they didn't look good in this. They only mustered up 6 points in this, 2 field goals. And J.J. McCarthy did not do good in Lambeau. That whole Vikings team didn't look good. And it's going to be a little tough sledding for Minnesota down the road when they have to go to take other teams. Well, they're trying to still – I don't think they're going to hit the division. I don't even know if they're going to get a playoff spot. But they have a lot of work to do to see if they can try to get that playoff push. But a breakdown out of this game. Will Reichert, 52-yard field goal. Emmanuel Wilson, 1-yard rush. Brandon McManus, 32-yard field goal. Will Reichert, 59-yard field goal. Emmanuel Wilson, 1-yard rush. Brandon McManus, 30-yard field goal. Brandon McManus, 40-yard field goal. Leaders for the Packers, Jordan Love, 14-21, 139 yards. Emmanuel Wilson, 28 carries, 2 touchdowns, 107 yards. Christian Watson, 5 catches for 49 yards. Michael Parsons, 2 sacks. And leading tackler for the Packers was Isaiah McDuffie with 5 solo tackles and 9 tackles. For the Packers, their next opponent is on Thursday on Thanksgiving against the Detroit Lions. For the Minnesota Vikings, their next opponent is against the Seattle Seahawks. Next game I got right and wrong is Giants-Lions, which I got right picking Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs rescues Lions with long touchdown run in overtime for 34-27 win over the Giants. Jahmyr Gibbs to the rescue. This was an ugly win for the Lions, and I didn't expect them. I thought they would kill the New York Giants, but this was a win that they needed in order to try to get their division. Yes, I know they're still going to make the playoffs, even though without Sam Laporta, who's on injured reserve, and he's not going to be back until next year. That is a key injury that is going to hurt them a little bit. So I don't know how far this Lions team is going to do right now. But they need every weapon they can to get that division because they have a key divisional matchup this Thursday against the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to need it. As for the Giants, I'll give it that. They gave it the good old college try with Jameis. He tried to keep them in the game, but unfortunately the Giants blew another lead and blew it in overtime, and it wasn't enough for them to get it. Yes, this is a team that's already on the draft looking for players, and it's already looking for a new head coach and a new defensive coordinator. So they have a lot of work to do in the offseason when it comes. But a breakdown out of this game. Wan'Dale Robinson, 39-yard pass from Jameis Winston. Younghoe Koo, 21-yard field goal. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 11-yard pass from Jared Goff. Isaiah Hodgins, 12-yard pass from Jameis Winston. Jahmyr Gibbs, 3-yard pass from Jared Goff. Younghoe Koo, 44-yard field goal. Jake Bates, 37-yard field goal. Jameis Winston, 33-yard pass from Gunnar Olszewski. Jahmyr Gibbs, 49-yard rush. Jake Bates, 59-yard field goal. Jahmyr Gibbs, 69-yard rush. And that was the game winner. Leaders for the Lions, Jared Goff, 28-42, 2 touchdowns, 279 yards, and an interception. Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries, 219 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Aiden Hutchinson, 1 sack, and leading tackler for the Lions was Jack Campbell with 11 tackles and 5 solo ones. For the Detroit Lions, their next opponent is against the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving. For the New York Giants, their next opponent is on Monday Night Football against the New England Patriots. Next game I got right and wrong is Jaguars-Cardinals, which I got right picking the Jags. Lawrence throws 3 touchdown passes, little kick, 52-yard field goal in overtime as Jaguars beat Cardinals 27-24. Trevor Lawrence made some great throws, some pretty bad ones, and just about everything in between while leading the Jaguars in a back-and-forth game that came down to a few clutch moments in the fourth quarter and overtime. This was a game the Jaguars needed to try to keep their playoff hopes alive and to try to fight for the division because they're only a game behind the Indianapolis Colts in order to get their division. So they're doing everything in their power to get their division and to get that last playoff spot because if they happen to tie with the Chiefs in the end, they would win the tiebreaker and they would eliminate the Chiefs from contention. So they're doing everything in their power to get that playoff spot, try to win their division, see what they can do. As for the Cardinals, I think they're not going to make playoffs. They're going to be out. They take another loss. They're done, regardless if it is Jacoby Brissett, even if it is Kyler Murray. I think that they will fire their head coach come next year, Rich Gannon, and they'll try to see to make a move who they can get. But I think the Cardinals are already on the clock in the draft. But a breakdown out of this game. Travis Etienne Jr., 15-yard pass from Trevor Lawrence. Walter Nolan III, 7-yard fumble recovered for a scoop and score. Cam Little, 52-yard field goal. Bam Knight, 1-yard rush. Jacoby Myers, 10-yard pass from Trevor Lawrence. Greg Dortch, 39-yard pass from Jacoby Brissett. Parker Washington, 9-yard pass from Trevor Lawrence. Trad Breland, 29-yard field goal. Cam Little, 52-yard field goal. Leaders for the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, 18-33, touchdowns, 256 yards, and 3 interceptions. Travis Etienne Jr., 15 carries, 86 yards. Brenton Strange, 5 catches for 93 yards. Leading sacker was Devin Lloyd for the Jags with 1.5 sacks, and leading tackler for the Jags was Foye Oluokun with 10 tackles and 5 solo ones. For the Jaguars, their next opponent is against the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. For the Arizona Cardinals, their next opponent is against the Buccaneers. Next game that I got right and wrong is Browns Raiders, which I got right picking the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders win his first NFL start. Myles Garrett has 3 sacks as Browns beat Raiders 24-10. Myles Garrett getting 3 of 10 sacks by a ferocious Brown defense, normally be the top storyline for a struggling Cleveland team. Shedeur Sanders looked good in this game. I'm just saying it's only one game, so I don't know how he's going to do throughout the rest, how it goes. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the full-time starter come next year. We'll wait and see if he gets a full season in him. We'll see how he does. But the Browns do have a good defense, which is never the question they have. I don't see that team making it far, making a play, but they'll probably go with a good record, maybe something like that. But they're already on the clock in the draft. Same with the Raiders. They're going to be on the clock. For the Raiders, I hope it is find another quarterback because Geno Smith sucks. And I'm hoping that maybe next year Max Crosby demands a trade to find him a way out of there because the Raiders are literally going to be having to find pieces in the draft, basically. But a breakdown out of this game. Quinshon Judkins, 8-yard rush. Quinshon Judkins, 2-yard rush. Daniel Carlson, 41-yard field goal. Andre Smith, no scoring in the third quarter. Andre Smith, 53-yard field goal. Dylan Sampson, 66-yard pass from Shedeur Sanders. Ashton Jennings, 5-yard pass from Geno Smith. Leaders for the Browns. Shedeur Sanders, 11 of 20, 1 touchdown, 209 yards and an interception. Quinton Judkins, 16 carries, 47 yards for 2 touchdowns. Leading receiver was Dylan Sampson with 2 catches, 59 yards and a touchdown. Myles Garrett with 3 sacks with the leading sacker. And leading tackler for the Browns was Carson Schweizinger with 11 tackles and 6 solo ones. For the Browns, their next opponent is against the 49ers on Sunday. For the Raiders, their next opponent is against the LA Chargers on Sunday. Next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Falcons Saints, which I got wrong, picking the Saints. Kirk Cousins, 2 touchdown passes, helped the Falcons end a 5-game skid and beat the Saints 24-10. Kirk Cousins found enough vintage form to lift the Falcons out of their recent funk. Yeah, he got them out of that 5-game losing streak, and now that Michael Penix is out, Cousins got back to what he was, even though the Saints are not that good of a team, and the Saints are already on the clock. They've already got rid of Brandon Cooks. He now went and signed with the Bills, but it's not enough for them. I know right now they're in an NFC North division and is up for grabs where the door is slightly ajar between them and Carolina right now because Tampa Bay right now has been on a losing after they lost to the Rams, which we'll talk about a little later on. And now that Baker Mayfield is probably going to be out for a while, I don't know how long, depending on if Teddy Bridgewater can hold down the fort. But the Atlanta Falcons are going to need every victory they can try to get here in order to get that division, in order to possibly get that last playoff, and maybe try to get a wild card spot. We don't know just yet, but we'll wait and see. As for the Saints, they are already on the clock. They're probably going to be trying to find a new quarterback, draft one in the draft, and try to get some more offensive weapons. So we'll wait and see what happens with them down the road, but a breakdown out of this game. Zane Gonzalez, 56-yard field goal. David Sills, the 5th 9-yard pass from Kirk Cousins. Justin Reed, 49-yard interception return for a pick 6. Zane Gonzalez, 41-yard field goal. Zane Gonzalez, 54-yard field goal. Blake Group, 33-yard field goal. Darnell Mooney, 49-yard pass from Kirk Cousins. Bijan Robinson run for the 2-point conversion successful. Leaders for the Falcons, Kirk Cousins, 16-23, 2 touchdowns, 199 yards, and an interception. Bijan Robinson, 14 carries, 70 yards. Darnell Mooney, 3 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Leading sacker for the Falcons was Brandon Dolores with 1.5 sacks. And leading tackler for the Falcons was D. Alford with 9 solo tackles and 10 tackles. For the Falcons, their next opponent is against the New York Jets. For the New Orleans Saints, their next opponent is against the Miami Dolphins. Next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Cowboys Eagles, which I got wrong, picking the Eagles. And this is one of the mentions I'm glad I was wrong. I was shocked. Let me read this. Dak Prescott rallied Cowboys from 21 down to beat Eagles 24-21 after breaking Tony Romo's record. Dak Prescott wasn't having it when teammates start congratulating Dallas' star quarterback for breaking one of Tony Romo's record as the Cowboys were trying to rally from 21 points down against the defending Super Bowl champs. I'm going to say this. When I was watching this game when it was 21-0, I really thought it was over. But when George Pickens got that touchdown, I was like, you know what? Maybe there's a point where this could get salvaged. But what I didn't expect was major salvage was when the Cowboys were, for the third time that I have seen this, come back from 21-0. The first time I seen it was in 1999 when I was 12 years old against the Washington Redskins, which was Aikman and Rocket in overtime. 2014 against the St. Louis Rams before they moved to LA, people, when they were down 21-0 against them, where it was a very, very young Rams team in St. Louis. They came back with Romo going to DeMarco Murray, Terrence Williams, and Des Bryant, and Mo Claiborne getting an interception. And now this is the third time that I have seen this. Now, I'm not going to go up and say, oh, the Cowboys are going to make a late playoff push. I'm not going too far with this. with Quentin Williams being there, yeah, the defense is getting somewhat there. It took the second half for them to get right, because in the first half, it wasn't getting right because Jalen Hurts had scored twice and A.J. Brown had scored. But then the defense got their shit together, causing 2 fumbles. Well, actually, special teams in the defense, one on Saquon and then one on a punt return. Then the Cowboys decided to go for a 4th and goal, which I did not have an issue with, because you really don't want to have to go in overtime, because if you get a field goal, the Eagles are going to have to get it. But George Pickens looked like a stud being that receiver. I think he's more better than CD right now. He should be the number 1 over CD, because CD had a lot of drops in this game and it didn't help. But Pickens got the job done, and I hope that the Cowboys do re-sign him. If they tag him, I pray to God they do re-sign him, because looking like a change of scenery. Because in Pittsburgh, he crashed out a lot, and in this instance, he's been on his best behavior. He's been doing real good. So I hope he does stay. As for the Eagles, I don't know right now if this is going to be, because I've listened to 2 people on Facebook. I've read their comment. One is from Cameron Whittemacher, my friend. Shout out to you, Cameron. I don't know if you listen to my podcast. I'll send this to you. What he said was change the play calling to Nick Sirianni, which I can agree, because Kevin Patullo does suck as a play caller, because he has not been doing good when they were on their 2-game losing streak. And even though everybody thought it was fixed, it wasn't fixed. He's not. The other is from my friend Tim Giancarlo. If you're listening, to shout to you, man. He thinks it's going to be a 2023 class. I don't know yet. I have to wait and see what occurs down the road. Now, if they happen to lose to the Bears on Friday, I'll wait until I can start getting to that discussion about that. I will do a show with Joe Law later on tonight when we're talking about that. I'll ask him that question. Does he think it is? I don't know yet, because we have a lot of football left where I can just say I think a collapse is going to occur, but I don't see it happening. The only way that a collapse could occur, and I am not wishing this upon anybody, is if something happens to Jalen or Saquon, but I don't see that occurring. That's the only other way I could see that a collapse occurs. But a breakdown out of this game. A.J. Brown, 16-yard pass from Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, 7-yard rush. Jalen Hurts, 1-yard rush. George Pickens, 1-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Brevin Spanford, 4-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, 8-yard rush. Brandon Aubrey, 42-yard field goal for the winner. Leaders for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, 23 of 36, 2 touchdowns, 354 yards, and an interception. Javonte Williams, 20 carries, 87 yards. George Pickens, 9 catches, 146 yards, and a touchdown. I know how to say Ziggy's last name. It's the first how to say his first name. Osa Odigizua, 1 sack. And Reddy Stewart with 3 tackles and 6 tackles. For the Cowboys, they play on Thanksgiving against the Chiefs. For the Eagles, they play on Black Friday against the Bears. Next game that I got right and wrong is Bucs-Rams, which I got right picking the Rams. Stafford and Adams connect for 2 more touchdowns, while NFC leading Rams roll a 34-7 win over the Buccaneers. Although Matthew Stafford threw touchdown passes on the Los Angeles Rams' first three drives against Tampa Bay, he was even more excited by teammate Kobe Durant's electrifying interception return for a touchdown, raising his hand atop his head as a makeshift fin to salute the quarterback who calls himself the Land Shark. Rams have been playing outstanding football with Matthew Stafford, because I thought literally he was going to have a down year. He had that back injury that started off the season, but Matthew Stafford is playing MVP-like football right now, and the Rams have been playing MVP-like football to the point where you could think they could be a Super Bowl contender right now. I have this team making the playoffs. I just don't know how far they're going to go. Are they going to go to another divisional and probably get 2 and done, or can they get over that hump and go to a championship, possibly taking on maybe the Lions, maybe the Eagles? But wait and see when we cross that bridge. But they're doing really good with their football with Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, and Jarrett Verse. As for the Bucs, the injury bug has hit them at the worst time, and now Baker Mayfield is going to be out. Now, I don't know how long he's going to be out for. When they play the Cardinals, I don't know if it's going to be Bridgewater or if it's going to be Baker. But right now, their division is slightly ajar right now, with Carolina on their heels and with the Atlanta Falcons on their heels. So if they go to 500 and they lose, that battle between them and Carolina is going to be very, very interesting for the battle for first place. But we'll wait and see what occurred with the Bucs down the road. But a breakdown out of this game: Devontae Adams, 1-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Kobe Durant, 50-yard interception return for a pick 6. Colby Parkinson, 5-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Tez Johnson, 14-yard pass from Baker Mayfield. Devontae Adams, 24-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Harrison Mevis, 40-yard field goal. Harrison Mevis, 52-yard field goal. Leaders for the Rams: Matthew Stafford, 25 of 35, 3 touchdowns, 273 yards. Kyron Williams, 12 carries, 46 yards. Puka Nacua, 7 catches, 97 yards. Leading sacker for the Rams was Kobe Turner with 2 sacks. And Cam Curl was the leading tackler with 6 tackles and 6 solo tackles and 8 tackles. For the Rams, their next opponent is against the Carolina Panthers. For the Bucs, their next opponent is against the Arizona Cardinals. And the final game in the right and wrong is 49ers-Panthers, which I got right picking the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey's big night leads 49ers with 29 victory over the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey maintained that playing Carolina for the first time since the Panthers traded to San Francisco 3 years ago. Won't raise his level of urgency one bit. No, it didn't, because literally this was the team that traded for him, and we saw what happened with Christian McCaffrey with the Niners. He made it to 2 NFC championships, 1 Super Bowl, but in the end, right now, last year they didn't go due to the fact that Brock Purdy was injured. But right now, the 49ers have been playing outstanding football. They're trying to do everything in their power to catch the Rams and to try to keep pace with Seattle, to try to get first place in their division, and also try to get that playoff spot as well, too, to see if they can get to the playoffs this time. But they have been doing very, very good. They've been playing good. Everything in them, they're trying to get that playoff spot with McCaffrey, with George Kittle. They now got Ricky Pearsall back. They have Jawan Jennings. And the defense might be a little bit of a question mark because they have some key guys out. As for Carolina, they're back at 500. I don't know what's going on with Carolina. Like I said, this is a bipolar-ass football team. You don't know what Bryce Young you're going to get at times. You don't know if you're going to get a good Chuba Hubbard, or Rico Dowd, or a Trevion McMillan. But this is a team that it's a lot of question mark. You don't know. It's 1 week they're good, and the next week they're bad. The 1 week they're winning games, and the next week they're losing games. You don't know what it is with them. But right now they're in a spot where their division is easily ajar with Tampa Bay losing. And come that game, if they happen to lose to the Rams and the Bucs happen to lose, then you have a spot of who's going to get first place in that NFC North. But we'll wait and see what occurs down the road with it. But a breakdown out of this game. Jawan Jennings, 12-yard pass from Brock Purdy. Ryan Fitzgerald, 25-yard field goal. Matt Gay, 47-yard field goal. Christian McCaffrey, 12-yard rush. Tatori McMillan, 29-yard pass from Bryce Young. 2-point conversion failed. Matt Gay, 29-yard field goal. Leaders for the 49ers, Brock Purdy, 23-32, 1 touchdown, 3 interception, 193 yards. Well, Brock didn't play his best game either. Christian McCaffrey, 24 carries, 1 touchdown, 89 yards. George Kittle, 6 catches, 78 yards. Leading sacker for the 49ers is Cleveland Farrell with 1 sack. And leading tackler for the 49ers was Malik Mustafa with 7 tackles and 7 solo ones. For the 49ers, their next opponent is against the Cleveland Browns. For the Carolina Panthers, their next opponent is against the LA Rams. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is my picks. Later on, I'll be with Joe Law and other news we talk about. So for Thursday's game, we have the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Give me the Detroit Lions in this one. I have the Lions win this one with Goff going to the 1-2 combination, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Him going to Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Defense getting to Jordan Love with sacks by Aiden Hutchinson, Anceloni, and Brian Branch getting an interception. They have the Lions as 2.5 favorites. I'll take the Lions with the 2.5 points. Over or under 48 points. I'm going to take it over because both of these teams are going to put up points. Next game we have is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys. Much as I love my Cowboys, but unfortunately I don't see them beating my homeboy. So I'm going to have to go with my homeboy on this one, with him going to Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, going to Travis Kelce, Rashid Rice, and Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown. I can see the deep Chris Jones getting to Dak Prescott. They have the Chiefs as 3.5 favorites. Close as this is going to be, I'm going to take Dallas covers that 3.5. I'm going to take the Cowboys cover the 3.5. Over or under 52. At home, Dallas does put up a lot of points, and I'm going to take an over in this one. So I'm going to take an over. Next one we have is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. I see Lamar Jackson having a good game, going to Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely. And I can see Roquan Smith getting to either Joe Burrow or Joe Flacco. They have the Ravens as 7-point favorites. I'll take the Ravens with the 7 points. Over under 51. I'm going to take an over in this one. I could see the Ravens get this one being a shootout here. If it is Joe Burrow. Even if it isn't, I could see Baltimore putting up that on their own. Next one we have is our Friday game. We have the Bears and the Eagles. I'm going to take Philadelphia in this one. They bounce back from that ugly loss to the Dallas Cowboys, with Jalen going to Saquon Barkley, Tank Bigsby, him going to AJ and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. I can see the defense getting into Caleb Williams. They have the Eagles as 7-point favorites. I'll take the Eagles with the 7 points. Over or under 44. I'll take an over in this one. Next one we have is the LA Rams and the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to take the Rams in this one. Matthew Stafford's putting up the MVP numbers as usual. Him going to Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Colby Parkinson, and Tutu Atwell. I see the Ram. Okay, whatever that was. Okay, I see the Ram. I see Jarrett Verge getting to Bryce Young. They have the Rams as 10.5 favorites. I'll take the Rams with the 10.5 points. Over under 45. I'll take an over in this one. Next we have is the Arizona Cardinals and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to take the Cardinals in an upset here because I don't know. With Baker out and with all those injuries they have, I'm going to take the Cards here with either Jacoby Brissett or Kyler Murray going to Bam Knight, him going to Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride and Greg Dortch. And I could see that defense getting to either Baker Mayfield or Teddy Bridgewater. They have the Cardinals as 2.5 underdogs. I'll take the Cards with the 2.5 points. Over under 43. I'm going to say an under right now if it is not Baker Mayfield. I'm going under that assumption. I'm going to take an under. Next one we have is the Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to take the Jags in this one. I see Trevor Lawrence going to Travis Etienne and to Jacoby Myers and to Brenton Strange. I could see Foye Oluokun getting to Cam Ward. They have the Jags as 6.5 favorites. I'm going to take the Jags with the 6.5 points. Over under 41. I'm going to take an over in this one. Next one we have is the New Orleans Saints and the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one with Tua Tagovailoa going to Devin Akane, him going to Jalen Waddle, and into Oronde Gadsden. I could see the defense getting the job done too, sacking Spencer Rattler. They have the Dolphins as 5.5 favorites. I'll take the Dolphins with the 5.5 points. Over under 42. I'll take it over because the Dolphins do put up a lot of points at home. Next one we have is the San Francisco 49ers and the Cleveland Browns. I'll take the 49ers in this one. I have Brock Purdy going to Christian McCaffrey, Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, and George Kittle. And I can see that defense getting to Shedeur Sanders. They have the San Francisco 49ers 5.5 favorites. I'll take the Niners with the 5.5 points. Over under 36. I'm going to take an over in this one. Next one we have is the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Jets. I'm going to take the Falcons in this one with Kirk Cousins going to Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. Him going to Darnell Mooney. I don't know if Drake London's going to be available for this game. I can see the defense getting to Tyrod Taylor. They have the Falcons as 2.5 favorites. I'll take the Falcons with the 2.5 points. Over under 39. I'm going to take an over in this one. Next one we have is the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Man, Colts didn't look good against the Chiefs. Texans have been playing off surprise victories. Games in Indianapolis. I'm going to take the Colts here. So I see Daniel Jones going to Jonathan Taylor, him going to Pittman, Alec Pierce, and Joshua Downs. I can see the defense getting to Davis Mills or CJ Stroud, pending who it is. They have the Colts as 4.5 favorites. I'll take the Colts with the 4.5 points. Over under 44. I'm going to take an over in this one. Next one we have is the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to take the Seahawks with this one. I see Darnold going to Kenneth Walker III, Zach Charbonnet, and Smith and Jigba. I could see DeMarcus Lawrence getting to J.J. McCarthy. They have the Seahawks as 11.5 favorites. I'll take the points. Over under 41. I'm going to take an over in this one. I can see Seattle putting out on their own. Next we have is the Bills versus Steelers. I'm going to take Buffalo in this one if it is Aaron Rodgers or regardless if it is Mason Rudolph. I see Josh Allen bouncing back from that ugly loss to the Houston Texans, him going to Coleman, going to Cook, Coleman, Shakir, and Dawson Knox. I don't know if Kincaid's going to play. If Kincaid is playing, I'll say him too. They have the Bills as 3.5 favorite. I'll take the Bills with the 3.5 points. Over 46. I'll take an over in this one. We have the Raiders and the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers in this one with Justin Herbert going to Kamami Badal, him going to Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen and Quinton Johnston. And I can see the defense getting to Geno Smith. They bounced back from that ugly loss to Jacksonville. They have the Chargers at 9.5 favorite. I'll take the Chargers with the 9.5 points. Over under 41. I'll take an over in this one. Next one we have is our Sunday night game. We have the Denver Broncos and the Washington Commanders. I'll take the Denver Broncos with the 5.5 points with Bo Nix going to J.K. Dobbins. Well, actually to R.J. Harvey because J.K. Dobbins is done. Him going to R.J. Harvey, Cortland Sutton, and McMillan. I could see the defense getting to either Marcus Mariota or Jaden Daniels. They have the Broncos 5.5 favorite. I'll take the Broncos with the 5.5 points. Over under 43. I'll say over 43. Next we have is the Monday night game. We have the Giants and the New England Patriots. I'm going to take the New England Patriots with Drake May going to Trayvon Henderson, Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, and Demario Davis. And I can see the defense getting to Jameis Winston. They have the Patriots 7.5 favorite. I'll take the Patriots with the 7.5 points. Over under 46. I'm going to take an over in this one. before we end and I call it a night. And if I do a show later on night, it's just been enough time for talk. It's time for kickoff. I'm Dave Walker, and we'll see you on the field. Good night, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving.